So like this morning, and yesterday, I tried to get a sense, of the inner clarity or the inner purity of our own mind. So the more we touch you could say your soul, if it's a term that speaks to you, or we would speak about subtle consciousness or mind of clear light. So the more you touch something deeper in you, and able to rest there longer and longer, so you start discovering something in you that is eternal. That doesn't depend on the body, that doesn't depend on the outer world. So then it gives you great confidence, into the path to enlightenment. So it gives you confidence, and when you die, it's simply with your consciousness you leave this body and move on. So I think it is useful to make some kind of experience, to taste something about your deeper nature. So that's why I tend to do this meditation that actually are a little bit borrowed from Buddhist Tantra, but without making it completely a tantric practice. So Lama Yeshe used to do like that at Kopan. In the early days, we would do this meditation I led this morning. So we would do something like that before breakfast. Even complete beginner, we do this kind of meditation. So, and some people would have some good experience, and other people, they couldn't, nothing happened. But for some people, so Lama Yeshe used to say, for us Westerner, we like to work with energy. Modern people like to more, with stuff, So he felt it was very appropriate for us Westerner. When I say Westerner, people which live in the West, Some of you are not really Western. I don't know what other term we could use, Aliens. No, I think modern people. I think we're all modern people, right? I don't know. What term would you use that encompass everyone? What would you use? I don't know what term. Yeah, but I want to make the distinction between Tibetans. We are not Tibetan. Yeah, well. Yeah, I mean, modern people, right, compared to, previous culture in Nepal. So, and then after that, we went that, like His Holiness say, we all human being, and we all want to be happy, and we all have the right to be happy. So there's nothing wrong in our aspiration to be happy. But we have to realize that everybody has the same aspiration and the same right to be happy. So that we shouldn't discriminate between my happiness and other people's happiness. Always make this distinction between me and other. So to broaden to open one's heart to all living beings, that they are like me, wanting to be happy, and then they have same right as me to be happy. And that we all have this pure consciousness, pure soul, or Buddha consciousness in us. Right? And everybody that cleans his or her mind and discover his own inner beauty can become Buddha. Right? So even the worst person, is temporarily clouded, by his disturbing emotions and mental affliction and But if they clean their mind, they reach the same state of enlightenment than any other Buddha. So we're all born on this planet and we spend a little time together and then suddenly we leave, right? So we try to be a good human being and live with a good heart and try to make people around ourselves happy. So, and if we cannot do that, at least we shouldn't try to make a mess. Right? So then one dies, one looks back, I've done more good than bad, at least. So I think if we realize that this life is transitory and that we move on, we're like in a guest house, for a weekend and we move on. Right? So we're in this body for a little while and move on. But the imprint of our action remain with us, the imprint of what we did, what we said, what we thought. So this imprint remain in our consciousness as we move on. And they will shape our next life. So whatever our future life will be depends on how we live this life. So if one tastes a little bit, in meditation, can go to a space that is a little bit more subtle or more spacious, we realize that we are not this body, and that consciousness moves on. Because consciousness is immaterial, it's in the need of space. So once one has that, that insight, or due to our own experience or due to our tradition, due to what the enlightened masters say, and we have trust in that explanation given by Buddha and other masters, then we try to understand karma and try to avoid the 10 non-virtues and cultivate the 10 virtues. So that's the first level of Buddhist realization, So a good practitioner is aware whether he creates virtue or non-virtue throughout the day, and he applies to himself or herself to cultivate virtue, to avoid killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, gossiping, ill will, covetousness, and wrong views. So by trying to avoid this negative action and cultivating the opposite, so one lives without harming others, and like that one creates a cause for a good rebirth next life. And as it is difficult to do that all the time, you see, so usually in the evening, like one brushes one's teeth before going to bed, so one cleans one's mind. You see, by doing recitation like Vajrasattva mantra with the 4 opponent power, right? Taking refuge, generating bodhicitta, generating regret for whatever, thought or speech or action we did throughout the day that wasn't skillful, that was hurtful, and so on. So we regret that, and then we recite 28 Vajrasattva mantra to purify that, and we generate the determination tomorrow to do better, like that. And like that, we take care of our mind. So this is really important, you know, even though you might be practicing advanced meditation, but if you don't take care of your karma, you know, it will still bite us at some point, you know. It will come back onto us. You know. So to take care of one's karma is really the first level of spiritual practice. So, you know, one speaks about mindfulness, you know, mindfulness of the breath, you know, but the most important mindfulness is mindfulness of one's karma, the action we do. You know. And because we don't have control over our mind, you know, even though we wish, you know, to be a good person and not to hurt other, you know, not to have negative thought about people, not to have to criticize, you know, and so on, and maybe our profession, you know, some people, you know, due to their profession, they harm others, you know, like a fisherman or like a butcher or like people in the arm trade, you know. So one has to check whether one's profession, you know, harms other or not. So if one can, you know, have a profession that is, if it doesn't do good, at least it's not harmful. And then, and then every night try to clean, you know, one's mind. And if you do that, actually, you live quite a wholesome life, and you have contentment in your heart. You see, you feel happy, you know, even though you don't reach advanced spiritual level, but barely by taking care of your karma, you feel content, you feel happy, you feel a decent human being. And if one doesn't take care of one's karma, you see, your mind starts becoming gloomy, bored, depressed. You see, all these are signs that the mind has become heavy with negative karma. So then one needs to, you know, do intensive purification practice. And then one discover again the joy, you know, how to see when your mind is clean, is pure, you're like like a little child. You're curious. You're excited. You wonder when you see flower, when you see animal, when you see a beautiful tree. You see, your mind has that quality of being curious and excited and happy and joyous and, you know, curious. And, you know, you're peppy. You know, you're happy to be. You know. So that's a sign of having good karma, you know, of your mind being clean, you know. And then the opposite, you know, when everything is boring and, you know, everything looks gray, you know, and your mind's depressed, you know. So that's a sign of heavy karma, you know, negative karma. But it's not, how to say, it's not, oh, I'm like that and I cannot change. No, we can change. One can clean the mind. Right? So if you look at your state of mind, you know, you realize that, you know, oh, so if you see that your mind, you know, is often gray, you know, not happy and without any reason, so then to do intense purification practice like Vajrasattva or prostration 35 Buddha or Damsik Dorje or reciting sutra like the Heart Sutra. So there's so many purification practice, right? So one does for a while intensive practice, and then that gloominess, you know, disappear from our mind. And then again, we have this contentment, this joy to exist, you know. Because actually life is beautiful. You see, the mere fact to exist, to be alive, is such a beautiful thing, If you see, every time you meet someone, it might be the last time. Every time you go to a beautiful park, it's maybe last time. So every moment becomes precious, and you enjoy the people, you enjoy nature, you enjoy life, because it's precious, and each moment is unique and never repeats itself, So when you have good karma, you're aware of these things, and then you live with a good heart, kind heart, life is good, even if the world falls apart, you're okay, and that's all what you can do, is to take care of your mind and your life, and and influence positively the people around you in your life, so taking care of one's karma is really the first level of spiritual development. So every day, in the morning, when one wakes up, and try to say, today I will try my best not to harm anyone, not to hurt anyone with my thought, with my speech, and my behavior, and I try to help other, as much as I can. Helping other might be just offering a smile, or a compliment, or a word of encouragement, that's helping other, in our everyday life. Saying a kind word to the cashier in the supermarket, it's a boring job, it's a hard job, right? So try to make her smile, or, compliment her for something, And so in our everyday life, we encounter people, right? So try to see them as a human being, and they also want to be happy, and put oneself in their shoes and see, oh, they have a difficult work, So how can I lighten her or him for a few seconds? So it's a state of mind where you try, to help other. And as one tries, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, but with time we become more skillful, by trying, gradually, we become better at it. So it's more an attitude, a state of mind. And then the next level is to tackle one's mental affliction, right? So then the real job, the more difficult job, I would say, start. I think taking care of one's karma is not that difficult. If one is mindful and see it as something important, I think it's feasible. Tackling one's mental affliction is a little bit more difficult because they are very stubborn, they're deeply rooted in ourselves. We have beginningless habit and familiarity with them, so it takes a lot of work. So I think the two main one is one's attachment, and then the other one is one's anger. And so these are the two main one. To try gradually to reduce the influence on our mind. So anger is the worst because it hurts other, so whatever we do out of anger or hatred or aversion, then whether it's a thought or speech or action, under that emotion will hurt other deeply. So I would like to read to you some verses from Shantideva, the chapter on patience. Because he has a logic, a stream of thoughts that lead you to actually understand how harmful anger is to yourself and other, and then how to change your thinking, how to, by changing the way you look at things, you can actually reduce your anger and aversion and cultivate patience and basically develop a peaceful, happy mind. So first one has to understand the harmful nature of anger. So when I use anger, it means hatred, it means anger, hatred, being torn, no, no, not that one, no. So being annoyed, being irritated, what else is in the same category? Huh? Frustration can be caused by anger, but can be also, you can be frustrated by other emotion. Huh? Resentment, yes. Being resentful. What else? No, jealousy is another one. Aggression, yes, aggression. But how do we say when you're actually angry, but you want to put it in a beautiful word, Passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive.
Yes, passive aggressive is one, but there are other ones. When you make the silent treatment, you're upset, but what else?
Hostility.
Huh?
Hostility. It's me, Janice.
Hostility, yes. Because, nowadays, many people know that being angry is actually not good. So they package it into something that looks nice. But below is actually anger, but one package it nicely, a nice word. No. It's just a sweet word, to describe anger. It doesn't come to mind now. But all what you say, yeah, feel in that category. No, being annoyed, you're angry, but you're annoyed, or you, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. So what it does, anger, you see, in a moment, you destroy positive karma created by millions and millions of life. So one moment of anger, you destroy millions of life of positive karma that you accumulated through hardship and too much effort. So one moment of anger, you destroy, is like a fire that destroy all your good deeds. So accept the karma that you dedicated towards enlightenment or you offer to others. So that's why we always dedicate at the end of practice, end of meditation. So when you do something virtuous, something kind, something helpful, you should dedicate it, towards your enlightenment or towards, for the happiness of other beings. So at least one should do that at the end of the day. Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking whether you were thinking about sugar coating.
Sugar coating, yes, also sugar coating.
Closer to
sugar coating anger, but yeah, but yeah. I'm not angry. I don't know. There's a sweet word that people. That, no. The Queen of England would use it. Yeah. She wouldn't use that, but she might mean it.
How about frustrated? Did somebody already suggest that?
I'm agitated. Yes.
Hold on. I find this so frustrating.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Yeah, all that. Yes.
How about upset? Upset.
Yes. Good example, yeah. I'm just sad. I'm disappointed at you. Yes, it's all good, Yes. We are disappointed. Yes, we are disappointed. That's good. Yeah, that's what I want to. This kind of expression we have to hide we're upset. So we sugarcoat it in nice word like that, isn't it? So anyway, anger, so it's like a fire that destroys our good deeds, And also, whatever spiritual realization you have developed, whatever spiritual quality you have developed, if you have developed loving kindness, compassion, love for others. So when you get angry, all that gets wiped away. When you're angry, you cannot have love, you cannot have compassion. It's the opposite energy. And then it takes you quite a lot of work to bring back this mind of sincere love and compassion, because you destroy that emotion in you, and not only just superficially, but quite so depending on the intensity of your anger, so you can harm your spiritual development quite a lot. So I remember once I did retreat, and I got upset about something. I don't remember what, but I felt like I regressed 3 weeks in my retreat, So it took me 3 weeks to get back to where I was, in my retreat. So definitely anger harms, your spiritual development. And then each time you're upset, annoyed, the happiness of your mind goes away. You're in a good mood, you're happy, and then you get annoyed or upset, and then that happiness goes away. And then when you're annoyed, upset, angry, you don't have, at that moment, you don't have peace inside, so the peace has gone. And if you're really, upset, and brew over it, then you cannot fall asleep, right? You're upset, and yeah. And if it's your partner, you make the silent treatment. You keep, in the bed, show him you back. So, yeah. So, but, you show him you back, but you still cannot fall asleep because you're upset, right? And then if often short-tempered, people don't like you. You see, it's difficult to like a person that is always upset, So we know that at work, if we have a boss or somebody, that's always short-tempered, it's difficult to like that person. So a person that, and I think flying off one's what? Huh? Flying off the handles. That's a good one too. If you fly off the handle easily, so people, they're a little bit scared of you, they don't know when is the next time you're gonna explode, so they're very careful around you, and so you make people uncomfortable, right? So, and the opposite is true. You see, if we refrain from anger, cultivate patience, so then our good karma continues to grow and never gets destroyed, right? And one's spiritual realization remains stable and continue to grow. They don't get destroyed. And your mind stays happy, and you live at peace, and, you don't have any problem falling asleep. And then people like you. People like to hang around you because you're stable-minded and you have a good heart. So people like you, so they like to help you. They like to be around you. And so working on developing patience and being aware of how destructive anger is, so that, because often in the world, you see, we justify anger, so, oh yes, I got upset, I got angry, but I had good reasons, right? So no, actually it's hurtful, it's harmful, so there's no benefit for oneself and no benefit for other in getting angry. And then Shantideva explains why anger arises. Our anger arises because we dislike problems, we dislike pain, we dislike misfortune, we dislike being criticized, we dislike bad news. So, and because of this, and also because of disliking, of not getting what we expect, we get upset when we don't get the pleasure that we were looking for, we don't get the salary that we wanted, we don't get the fame, we lose our health, we, bang our feet against the door, against something. So there's many situations, because we don't like these problems, so we get upset. You see, we are not getting upset only to people, we get upset also to situation, And sometimes we get upset at ourselves, right? And sometimes, we hit our feet against something, and then we're upset and hit it a second. We see that in comics, you know. So you see, why we get upset is not because of this problem. Why we get upset is because we dislike the problem. That's what Shantideva tries to convey, you know. So this dislike, thinking bad, is the cause of my anger. So I should, by all means, stop disliking problems. Then I would never get angry again. You see, if we could change our attitude, instead of saying when a problem arises or somebody criticizes us, instead of thinking bad, oh, I don't like it, think, oh, good, I like it. You know, if one could do that, one wouldn't get upset. It's difficult. Huh? Huh? Yes, a little bit. A little bit. But it's really the key. I notice, you know, when I have a problem, I think, oh, good, I have a problem. It's fantastic, I have a problem. Oh, good, that person criticized me. Oh, good, Trump got elected. You know, oh, good, you know, I'm sick, you know. Oh, good, I have this health problem. You know. Oh, good, I cannot fall asleep. Oh, good, I'm thirsty. So you see, each time the problem, instead of saying bad, if I think bad, oh, bad, then I get irritated, you know, and depending on the level of irritation, and I get angry, I get upset, right? But if I say good, I don't get upset. If I say, but of course, you have to see this, what follows up. You don't just say good, you have to back it up with reasons, right? You say good, and then you have to back it up with some reason why it is good, right? But if one can do that when a problem arises, say, oh, good. You prevent the, how to say, how you say, the immediate reaction. How you call that, immediate reaction? Almost reflex. Yeah, you know, you don't have time to think about it. It becomes automatic. You know, you get banged and you bang back. You know, it's kind of like, you know.
Right. It's an instant reaction.
Instant reaction, yeah, instant reaction, yes. But it's almost spontaneous or innate, instinctive. It's instinctive, right? You react, you know, you get that path, you know. And after anger is instinctive. You see, you don't think about, oh, I'm gonna get angry. You know, no, it just happened, isn't it? So to stop that instinctive reaction, if you say, oh, good, you can prevent it from arising. If you sincerely think, oh, a problem arises, you get criticized or something unexpected happens, you say, oh, good. So you stop that instinctive reaction. So I tell you, it works. You know, I train on that. Yeah, because, you know, in life, we all face unexpected thing, you know. It's like, you know, there's always something happening, you know, a noise, you know. We all face, throughout the day, there's always circumstance, unexpected, annoying things happening, right? So if one learns how to react to that, so that one reduce one's reactivity, with anger. So that's a great plus, So one stays happy and, peaceful and gentle, and one doesn't destroy one's virtue, one doesn't destroy one's positive karma. So it's a great victory if one can do that. So then Shantideva uses an argument, how to think to remain at peace. So if there is a solution to the problem, I just act upon it, right? I just solve the problem. And if there's no solution, what to do? In both cases, getting upset is useless. It only adds to the problem and takes away my peace of mind. And it's true, so if there's a solution to the problem, if somebody criticizes you, well, if the criticism is valid, well, let's check in my mind, it's a nice teaching. And if it's not valid, I can defend myself. I can, explain my point of view like that. I don't need to get upset. Getting upset doesn't help to solve the issue I have with that person. And often, when we get upset, actually, we have to wait for the upsetness to go away, to think clearly, to find a solution, So usually, if we're upset with somebody, we say, oh, if I speak now, it's going to get worse, So better to go for a walk and calm down, and then talk later. Yeah, so when, like Shantideva in another part of the text says, when I'm upset or any other negative emotion, right, I will be like a log, like a piece of wood, basically not react, As long as I'm under the control of that negative mind, just don't do anything, don't say anything, because whatever you're going to say, when you're angry, you're going to hurt, So you have to wait till the mind calms down and then talk. So Shantideva says, well, sometimes we like problems, when they affect people we don't like, So when, so he says, oh, it is possible to like problems, but sometimes we like problems, when they affect other people. Sometimes somebody we don't like, and he hurt his feet, or so, oh, good for him, sometimes we have that reaction, oh, that person has, has hurt you a lot and something bad happened to him or her. Oh, yes, good for him, oh, okay, a little smile, never, 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 ever, ever. Oh, yes, yeah, but
She's perfect over here. I'm certainly not perfect. I just
yes,
don't get that feeling really.
yeah,
If I'm just being honest.
yeah. No, it's good, it's good, it's good. But maybe somebody never has really hurt you very, very deeply. Yeah, no, but it happens, you hear that, around, you hear that kind. Oh yeah.
Scary to you, If you're driving and somebody does something like cuts you off, and then a few minutes later you see that they've been stopped by the police,
Yes.
then you
Yeah.
kind of
Ah.
you kind of think, well,
Yeah.
how about that?
So I would think instant karma. Yeah, things like that, right?
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
Is that the one?
Yeah,
Right?
Schadenfreude. Yeah. Give me the things. Thank you. Yeah. So now, okay, a problem arises, and you say, "Oh, good." You know, you get sick. Oh, good. You get cancer. Oh, good. You have a car crash. Crash. Oh, good. You go out. You wanted to go to the beach. And you expect sun, and it's pouring rain. Oh, good. So, all these little annoyances in daily life, so, oh, good. So then Shantideva gives this reason why they are good. So problems cleanse our mind from past negative deeds, the cause of unfortunate rebirth. So whenever we have a problem, big or small, basically it's the ripening of our negative karma. So we couldn't, you see, how to say, a problem is never the result of a virtuous action. It's always the result of a non-virtuous action we have created in the past. So it's a ripening of a negative karma. So basically each time you face a problem, you clean that negative karma that was created in the past, that you don't have to experience in the future. So it says, you see, it's better to experience this problem while you are human than in the hell realm or in the preta realms or as animals and so forth. So you get out of it cheaply, would you say? That's an expression. You get out of it cheaply. Oh, And that's why you see Tibetan Lama says, you see, there are again euthanasia, so if you're sick, and so it's better to experience that suffering as a human than to have to experience it in the hells, right? So that suffering you experience as human is much less than what if that karma would ripen in the hells.
What if you're sick with cancer or suffering
Yeah.
with cancer and you take some sort of pain medication? Does that change the karmic result?
I think that's the ripening of your good karma. Yeah, pain medication.
Pain medication.
Yeah, so you lessen your pain. You have that.
Oh, because you have access to pain medication.
Yes,
It's
you have
good
the access, so it's your good karma. You can lessen the pain.
But what if you use that pain almost as a way to think, hey, I'm in pain, and then at that point in time it becomes ego, right?
Well, that's another issue. Let's remain on the topic. You know. So it says suffering is a broom that cleans your karma, right? So it's good, you see, when you have a problem and you say, good, okay, I did something similar to other before, and now it comes back onto me. And now that karma gets purified. So it's good. So if you can sincerely think that, it's very helpful. You know, we have not always been angels like we are now, you know. So yes, you know, sometimes we have hurt others, right? So then that comes back onto us. And so that karma gets purified, so it's good. And then the second reason he gives, you see, if we wouldn't have any problem, if everything goes always our way, you know, if the sky was always blue and the sun always shining, you know, everybody's happy with us, you know, and life is good, you know. So then we would have no incentive to reach liberation, you know. Then our life would be like in the Deva realm, in the God realms, you know. Everything is nice there and they have no incentive to develop their mind, you know. So problems are good. I mean, why we enter Dharma in the first place, most of us, is because we were unsatisfied, we had problems, you know, we were unhappy and tried to find a solution, right? So problems are good, you know, they make us try to break free from cyclic existence under the control of karma and delusion, right? And it's true, you know, if everything goes well all the time, we become a little bit complacent, you know, life is good, you know. So this is when problem, you know, kick, you know, a little poke from time to time, you know, wakes you up, hey, you know, oh, it's not, everything is not only good, you know, I'm still in cyclic existence, you know, I'm still under the control of karma and delusion. So it reminds you, you know, to be more diligent in your practice, aspiring for liberation. And then the third point he gives, you see, suffering problem is a ripening of negative karma. So I should be mindful to create good karma instead. You know, I should be diligent in practicing virtue and helping other and being a good person and, you know, creating good karma. You know, because I don't want these results of negative karma, so I should stop creating negative karma, right? It's like I have a friend, he puts on his emails, you know, you have the bottom signature, you know, so his signature is, we don't like suffering, but we like its cause, you know. So, yeah, so we don't like the problems, but, you know, we keep on creating the cause of problem by, you know, cultivating our attachments, our desire, you know, things like that. So we don't like the effect, but we cultivate the cause, creating negative karma. And also problems, they reduce our pride And that's so true, when you're young, beautiful, and, full of youthful energy, so you have this little pride, kind of little or big pride, it depends on the individual. Right? Then you break your leg or something, and suddenly your pride, poof, oh, actually, I can also have problem, and it reduce your pride, And it's true when we face problem, everything goes our way, maybe a subtle pride there, and pride, basically we look a little bit down on people which don't have problem. Oh, poor thing, I don't have, poor thing. Well, that's how pride is, right? Pride is looking down on other, from our top of the mountain, you look down on the other people. That's how pride is. So when we have problem, that reduces our pride. So you see, problems are good because they reduce our pride. And then they induce us to take refuge in the gurus and the three jewels, right? So, if one is Christian, one takes refuge in Jesus or God, If he's Hindu, in Shiva or Parvati or whoever. So I think there's this instinct in us when we have problem, we try to find help, right? So we try to find help, we go to the doctor and so on, if we have help. So we take refuge in the doctor, right? And follow the advice. And, and if it's for things more than just the body, for our psychological problem, things like that, we take refuge in Buddha, right? Dharma and Sangha. So problems induce us to take refuge. So problems are good because if I didn't have problem, I would not necessarily take refuge as sincerely or as, And then problems help me to induce compassion for those which have the same or greater problem. You see, when I have problem, suddenly, other people have the same problem. So, because you feel how it is, to have this problem, you have cancer and you really feel how, how painful, how uncomfortable it is, and how fearful your mind is. So you can feel compassion for all these other people that have the same sickness, the same problem, and that even are in a worse situation than you are. So sometimes you see, when one doesn't have problem, things like that, it's difficult to feel how it is like to have problems. How does it feel to be sick? When you're in good health, it's difficult to really feel how it is to be sick. Or, your partner left you, so then you know how other people feel when their partner left them. Or your child doesn't behave well at school, or got involved with a bad crowd. Then you know how it feels, when other people have problems with their children. So problems are really helpful for generating compassion. And then Shantideva says, how would we ever perfect patience if we didn't have any problems? You see, we need problems to perfect patience. Patience is a quality of the mind, and you cannot develop it if you don't face obstacle. You have to face obstacle to be able to develop patience. So he gives the example, a beggar is not an obstacle to generosity. He's the cause for it. Problems are the cause of patience. So thank you, problems. You are indispensable for my spiritual growth. So I remember, His Holiness often tells of Tibetan refugees that came and that were escaping from Chinese, were released from Chinese prisons, and they were tortured and things like that. And once His Holiness says, one of those person came to see him and told him, "Oh, I almost lost it while I was tortured." And His Holiness thought, "Oh, he thought maybe he almost lost his life, And then the ex-monk said, "No, I almost lost compassion towards the one that tortured me." So that, wow. And Gachen Rinpoche says, he spent, I think, dozens of years in prison, and, mistreated like other prisoners. And he said, he felt his spiritual development is really thanks to the Chinese guards, that he was able to develop love, compassion, and patience, This incredible, powerful spiritual quality is thanks to these people that harmed him and abused him, that he was able to develop these qualities. So yes, if one can see problem in a positive way, you see, we can develop patience, love, compassion, So, you see, problem can be good, if one has the right attitude with them. Then Shantideva gives some example how to induce compassion instead of anger. So he says, people are good, but temporarily confused by their delusion, like a sky covered by clouds. So the sky is always clean, is always blue, but temporarily it's covered by clouds, so you don't see the blue sky because of the clouds. So he used that example to show, people are fundamentally good. They have this Buddha nature, Buddha potential, the clear light nature of their mind. But temporarily that clear light nature of the mind is obscured by anger, pride, jealousy, a negative emotion that induce them to do negative, to hurt us. So if if somebody hurts us, or some politician I've negative behavior, negative ideas, to think, oh, they're temporarily obscured by their mental afflictions. But fundamentally they are good people. They have this pure Buddha nature. They also have clear light nature of mind. Because anger has this thing that it only looks at the negative side of the person. The anger, the resentment only zoom on the negative side of the person. It doesn't see that that person also has quality, also has friends. At least his or her dog like him. Yeah, the dog is very happy. I mean, Hitler had a dog, and the dog loved him, and he had a partner, Eva Gardner, right? So, yeah, so even the meanest person can have friends, right? So they don't see that person like we see him or her, right? We only see negative, but that person also has people that see him or her as positive. Then you use another reason. People don't think I will get angry. Anger doesn't think I will arise. Both are under the power of other causes. You see, everything is dependent rising, depending on cause, conditions. So when I get angry, so there's a trigger out there that causes my anger, but there's also my familiarity with anger. You see, on my stream of consciousness, I have the habit when something doesn't work my way, So I have that habit in my stream of consciousness, and another person that doesn't have that strong habit, he will not get angry in exactly the same situation. I would get angry, but he will not get angry. So this is because of my familiarity with anger. And I also think the people that harm us, they act in such a way because their past karma, their habit. So they also kind of, these people that act negatively, they also have become like that due to their habitual pattern that they have cultivated over time. So they're also under the control of their own delusion, their own habit, like we are under the control of our habit, our delusion. So they also. And then he uses another reason. If confused beings can even take their cherished lives, so I shouldn't be surprised if they harm others. You see, sometimes people commit suicide, they're so unhappy and, but yet they cherish, they love themselves so much, right? But they confuse. And the thing they cherish the most, their own life, they take it. So if they can even harm their own precious life, out of anger and so forth. So of course they will hurt others. And then he used another reason. They are not responsible of the pain they give me. They are triggered by my own past negative karma. You see, if I hadn't created the cause, that person couldn't harm me. I must have created the cause. Otherwise, that experience wouldn't happen to me. So because of them, I purify, right? By experiencing that problem they create for me, I purify. And because of me, they create bad karma, right? They harm, they do negative actions, so they create negative karma. So why do I see the situation in reverse? So, for example, somebody slaps you in the face, right? So you experience that slapping because you slapped somebody else before, So that karma comes back to you and you get slapped in the face. So by you experiencing that karma gets purified. But the person that slapped you in the face, he's creating negative karma that remains ahead of him, right? He will have to experience that result in the future. So why do I reverse, by that situation, I purify and he creates negative karma. So I think myself, when I think about this politician, that create bad rules or bad decision, send army, send people to war and things like that, I'm thinking about the karma they create, Wow, what heavy karma they create. So actually, if you think about that, you can have compassion for them. And then he uses another reasoning. I will get a good rebirth for my control of anger. What will my enemy gain by hurting me? Myself, by controlling my anger, not getting upset when I'm harmed. So because of that, that's a virtue state of mind that will bring me happiness. What will my enemy gain by hurting me? So that person, will have to face the consequence of his actions. And then he used another reason. If I get upset at him or her or at them, my love, compassion, and bodhicitta will degenerate. So by getting upset, you see your spiritual quality you develop, they degenerate. And you have worked hard to develop these qualities, So they are very precious to you. And getting upset, well, you lose this quality you have developed. So you lose something very precious. So that helps you to be careful not to lose your temper. And then he says, you see, first one is able to remain patient with small problems, and through proper thinking, gradually with bigger and bigger. So I think this is an important text. You see, Shantideva's 6th chapter of the Bodhicharyavatara. So to read it regularly or to meditate on it, you see it so that, how to say, you see, if you listen it to time, most of you have heard this kind of teaching many times, you know. But it's not enough to hear teaching, you know. Then you have to contemplate. Basically, you have to repeat that again and again and think about it, make it, play the devil's advocate. What if I do the opposite? You know, you have to, and then you have to imagine situation where you, or remember situation where you get upset. How did it happen? You know, what were the triggers? You know, and then you have to plan in advance. You know, if you go to see people, you know, for example, me, I have a family member. You know, she's very good to trigger me. So, you know, before entering the door, I say, I should not get upset. You know? And I go, ooh. What's gonna happen now? But you know, if you prepare in advance, you know, when you're going to face difficult people or a difficult situation. So before say, oh, I should not get upset. I try to control myself. You know? So you plan ahead. So like that, gradually, you know, you can change. You know, so as he says, first you can control small situation where you get upset, and then gradually, as your mind becomes stronger, you know, you can even control difficult situation. So I know we like to meditate on bliss, happiness, love, and, you know, positive emotion, but sometimes to meditate on that, you know, regularly and really work on your mind, you know. Sometimes it's good to do that for weeks on end, you know. You really take different texts on patience, you know, and from different author, you know, from different lamas, from different gurus, you know, because each one presents it in a slightly different way. So sometimes, you know, it clarifies things, and gradually, you know, you're able to control your mind. So I think this is very precious, you know, to be able to work with that. Because if one can control one's mind, you know, not get upset anymore, not angry, especially nowadays with this climate of political disharmony, you know, in the United States, you see so many people are upset, you know, about this and that. And I think it just takes away the joy, the happiness. You see, I mean, you see, you know, people are unhappy, right? So if one can control one's mind and try to develop patience, love, compassion, and share some healing energy in this division as much as possible. You know? So I think it's very worthwhile. And like Shantideva says, if you can do something about it, well, you do, you act. And if you cannot do something about it, getting upset is useless, right? So being upset at the political situation is completely useless. It makes our mind unhappy and doesn't achieve any purpose, right? So it's no point. But so one acts as much as one can, right? So depending on one's skill and one's situation, one's karma, we can influence the thing in a positive way. Any thought, any questions?
Yes. Venerable. Please explain purification. How does it actually work?
How purification works.
Yeah.
So karma is energy. It's not something fixed. It's just energy. You put out some energy, right? So that energy can be affected by other energy, right? So the four opponent power is energy that counteracts the energy energy in your mind, right? But that energy is not, how to say, is not self-existent. It's merely labeled by mind. It's not something solid. You see, the memory of the negative action might be something solid in your mind, right? So that cannot be affected. The memory of that action you did, if you see it as solid, it's solid, right? So that's why sometimes you imagine doing purification practice and the action is still there, you still have hurt that person and you hold solidly onto that, right? But and the way you imagine that action, it's not real, right? It's just a thought, memory, but the karmic energy is just energy, and that energy can be affected by another energy, can be undermined and purified.
When you say when you say purify, it sounds like it's an account. Like you have this positive karma account and then you have the negative karma account.
Yes.
And then you purify and you're equal or something. Is that what you mean? Like
No, it's like it's not like you have, a scale like that, right? It's not like that. Both karma are in the stream, right? There's just energy in your mind, right? So the positive and negative are there, but each one brings its result. So it's not when you have more negative karma, the negative karma ripen and the positive don't. Both karma ripen all the time. When they meet the right circumstance, they ripen, right?
so when you purify, it means you got rid of the negative
Yes,
a little bit,
yes.
but not completely, right?
Well, it
Because-
depends how intensive your purification practice is, right? So you try to get rid of all the negative karma, right, before they ripen. So that's the reason we do purification practice. So Lama Yeshe used to say, you see, if you recite 100,000 Vajrasattva, he said there's no karma that cannot be purified. Because of the power of the blessing of the mantra, yeah.
So that's a belief. You
Huh?
believe. It's a belief.
Yes, it's a belief. It's a belief, and you can prove it to yourself by doing it. Yeah. I mean, I remember myself, I told it at a retreat. I was kind of, I looked life in gray, everything was depressing. I wasn't happy. I wasn't a happy teenager, young adult, Buh. Nothing exciting. I traveled all over India, Nepal. Buh, buh, buh. Not the outer world was blur, my mind was blur, you know. And then I did Vajrasattva retreat 3 months, you know. And then, oh, everything is beautiful. Oh, nice, you know. Life is, I was again curious, you know, enthusiastic and happy, you know. So yes, it affects your mind. You know? And I don't know how, because I never saw Vajrasattva on top of my head. And you know, I recited the mantra. I was bored, you know, for 3 months, you know. Well, 6 hours a day reciting Vajrasattva mantra is boring, I tell you. But it has an effect. You see, I saw the effect on myself. So you can definitely, I don't know how it works, but it definitely changes your state of mind. You know? So, yeah. So karma, it says negative karma has only one quality, and that quality is that it can be purified, right? So there's no negative karma that cannot be purified. So even the worst person, you know, can completely clean his mind if he or she, you know, apply himself.
Can I ask a question, Venerable?
Huh?
Can we do a very short meditation on patience?
Yeah, maybe let's finish the question.
Oh,
Yeah.
there was a question. Sorry.
Oh, you had something to say, I think. No, not the question, you had something to say.
I was just wondering, you were talking about like freezing out as being a type of anger, and then later you talked about the teaching where it says to be a log, right? You just kind of. So what would you say the difference between those two are, or how would you?
I think freezing out, you know, I think you're angry, you know, you're angry, but you make the silent treatment, you know. Well, actually being a log also, I think it's quite similar. Yes, it's true. Yes, yeah, yeah, it's true. No, I think both are, well, they are good in the sense that you don't express your anger, right? You don't act out of your anger.
And you're still creating negative karma because you're freezing out, or
Well, you don't create negative karma through speech, and you don't create negative action through action, right? So with your thought, you might.
are you
know,
minimizing?
You minimize it, yes. Yes.
Well, there are a couple of things. One thing is, I watched a certain news broadcast the other night, and it's not one that I usually watch, and it seemed that as much was being done as possible to inflame people's anger. And apparently that broadcast station gets more viewers than all the rest combined. And wow, they derive some benefit of, placing this wedge in the society and inflaming all these people. And I didn't, it's the first time I've watched that in many years, and I was really shocked. And then I'm driving on the road every day, and I see a lot of anger. I see things happening that are scary, and so right now, I don't know what exactly to think about that. What they're driving at, what they want by inflaming and painting everything in a way that is divisive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's on a big scale.
Yes, true. It's true.
So try to stay home. and
Yeah.
out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, people don't listen to His Holiness Dalai Lama. You know? They listen to, people which have. It's just so show how degenerate the time is. You see how, people like mental afflictions. People feed on mental affliction, and under their control, we create negative karma. So the worse becomes a worse and worse place. The world becomes a worse and worse place. So global warming, war, sickness, how to say, virus, all these things, all these manifestation of our negative, collective negative karma, right? So, yeah. And the last 50 years, it seems it has speeded up, I never expected to, when I was in my 20s, I never expected to see the world like it is now, I'm kind of shocked how quickly it degenerated, because it had degenerate already, since the long time, right? But it has accelerated in a way. I'm quite surprised. And there are people which have wisdom, like His Holiness Dalai Lama, but many people in their field try to promote good ideas, or whether in the environment or philosopher or politician. There are good people out there, but somehow one doesn't listen to them, listen to people which induce fear and resentment and anger and so. So that's just the situation we are in. Good, yeah. Yes, for us individually, good, yes. But collectively, it's kind of like that. So, yeah, we can control our mind, And so, like, Lama Yeshe gave a talk. I led a retreat in France, and I put snippet, a small extract of videos from Lama Yeshe, and one was recorded at Vajrapani, and that was in the late 1970s or early 1980s. And it's interesting because that's 50 years ago. And people were complaining about how decadent the world was, how bad it was. Already 50 years ago, people were sad about, about, I don't remember what it was, maybe the beginning of global warming and the political situation and things like that. And then, and Rinpoche Lama was saying, look, the world can fall apart, but you can live in a Pure Land. The world outside, but you don't need to see it like that. You don't need to live it like that. You can see it as beautiful. You can cultivate positive thought, positive emotion, positive outlook. And you can experience the world nicely, even though other people, it falls apart. Because you're in control of your mind, so it depends on your own mind, on your own outlook. And when people go to His Holiness Dalai Lama, they speak about global warming, and they push. You say, well, the world's going to end. One day or the other, the world's going to end. So it ends. But you, with your karma, you end up in a Pure Land, or, so it just depends on your mind, You cannot control the outer event, So make yourself unhappy about it, has served no purpose, right? So we should be as positive and as patient and as compassionate, as helpful as possible, and stay happy. You know, by ourselves being miserable about it doesn't help. You know, it doesn't. You know, it just yeah. I think also we have to be careful in a sense that we feed. I think the news, you know, the way the news are done, the aggregation of the news actually is meant for you to keep on looking, and you know they have algorithm, you know, and then the way they put the title, you know, to induce fear, or they just tell you half the sentence so that you click to look at the next sentences. You know, it's made in a thing to feed your fear, to feed your resentment. So actually, and you become addicted to this energy, you know, like they become addicted to anger, and you know, kind of like that. So I think one has to be quite careful how we consume this information, because it affects our mind, you know. Yeah, so I notice for me, I have to be careful how much, you know, I consume these things, because then my joy, my happiness goes away, you know, and it doesn't serve any purpose, you know, to know. Before, in the ancient time, you knew what was happening in your village and maybe the town next door, and maybe 6 months later you knew what happened in the capital city, you know. But now with instant news, you know what's happening all over the world, you know. So it's almost like we get an information overload, and the mind doesn't know how to process so many negative information at once. And it comes to the point you don't even have space to generate compassion, because it's just too much. You know, you cannot, you know, if you know about one situation, then you have compassion. But when you have millions of situations at the same time, the mind doesn't know how to process, you know, so much. You know? So I think for me, I notice I have to be careful how much I consume these this negative news, you know, because there are good news too, but there's so little, you know, in a newspaper. You know, so in old days you had maybe 50% good news, 50% bad news in newspaper. Now you have 99% bad news and maybe, you know, 1% good news. So you get really, wow. And then you go out, you know, the sky is still blue, the sun is shining, and a beautiful flower, and there's a nice park, and people, you know, are kind to each other, you know. Hey, what was the newspaper saying, and what's the outer reality? You know, this kind. So one has really to be careful how much one consumes these negative things.
I don't have a question. I
Yeah.
just have a comment. I
Yeah,
want to
sure.
thank you because I'm really hungry. And I've been thinking about food for a long time now, and we're very late. So
Okay.
I'm trying to think of this as good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm half kidding and half serious.
Yeah, no, okay. Okay, let's make lunch break. Okay, last one. Okay, no, last one.
Make it quick. So the question is about, so the I think you mentioned collective karma, which is kind of related to group consciousness. So does group consciousness also work in relation to energy, the way you were talking about?
Definitely.
And so then I got a little bit, one question is it like a democratic system where like more positive, like more people generating, or everyone is generating both positive and negative, right? And is it like they're all like the amount, or is it the quality of the type of vibrations that work also? Like, is it number majority versus, is it a number, or is it a quality type, or both? And that's a quick. And then the other one is karma. Of course, there's one like our habitual responses are karmic, right? Are karma, but the events that happen to us is everything that happened to us due to our own karma, or is it like, oh, you have, that environment, something is happening?
Yeah, but our personal karma can be same as other person's personal karma, right? So then we experience it collectively together. So we have created similar karma in the past, so we experience together a similar result. Right? And I think there are people which have a more powerful karma than others. So for example, let's say the karma you and me create is very limited, but karma created by a president, they have much more power, much more impact, so it's more powerful. And in spiritual, it says when a highly realized spiritual beings die, it's like a lamp that, the world becomes that much darker. So, they're passing away. Because of their incredible quality, the words become spiritually much darker, right? Whereas if I die, the world doesn't become darker, right? But no, just to say. So, so we have different karma, right? So I think, some are more powerful than others, right? Because of the impact we have on the world. Okay, lunch break. But I think it's an important thing, to chew over. I think it's important. Okay. Thank you, everybody. At what time? 1 hour and a half, so at 2:30. Yeah.
Come back at 2:30 Pacific. Thank you.
So whatever merit we have created, so it doesn't get destroyed by a moment of upsetness. So let's offer it, for the well-being of all living beings on this planet. May the anger, hatred, resentment decrease due to our merit. May everybody cultivate patience and loving heart, and kindness towards each other. Bon appétit.